Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at UFC Fight Night Paris. Imavov versus Borralho. I'm going to be going through the entire card, giving you my predictions for every single fight. I'm going to start with the prelim. First fight of the night is Sean O'Bannon versus Sam Hughes. Normally on this channel, you know we're biased. We are biased on this channel. I'll be the first to admit it. You know, normally we pick Sean O'Bannon because old world fighters beat new world fighters. There's a problem though. You see, these girls go to a split decision quite a bit. And consistently throughout their careers, they go to a split decision. And I think in that event, it's going to go to Sam Hughes. I think Sam Hughes probably has the advantage in the grappling. Sean O'Bannon beat Puja Tomar by armbar, right? She's not going to snatch up the arm of Sam Hughes. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think the girls are going to stalemate quite a bit. I think Sam Hughes' grappling is going to be better. Maybe Sean O'Bannon's going to be a bit faster on the feet, maybe a bit more technical on the feet. Honestly, I think it goes to a split decision. I think Sam Hughes wins it. I will be rooting for Sean O'Bannon, but I don't really see a method of victory clearly for Sean O'Bannon. So we're going to have to go with Sam Hughes. Much as it pains me, we're going to have to go with Sam Hughes. Next up, we've got Rinat Fakhretdinov. Fakhretdinov? I barely know her off. Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Andreas Gustafsson. We're going to be going with Andreas Gustafsson. I know I don't normally go with Nepo babies, with the nepotism build, but Andreas Gustafsson's pretty good. I wasn't a massive fan of Alexander Gustafsson, the older brother, I do believe. So, yeah, we're going to go with Andreas Gustafsson. I think he's just going to be a little bit better everywhere, and I think he's going to manage to put hands on Rinat. I think he's going to put hands on Rinat, and I think he might even see a TKO. But it'll be interesting to see. I like to see where it goes. I could see an Andreas Gustafsson TKO in his future. Probably an upset, actually, to be fair. Who is the favourite? Slight favourites. And no, not even an upset. Yeah, near evens. It's a pick'em. But we're going to go with Andreas Gustafsson. In my opinion, I think he gets the job done. I think he's just going to hit. I think he hits too hard for Rinat. Moving on. So that's Gustafsson by TKO. Moving on. We've got Brad Tavares versus Robert Brycechek. We're going to be going with Brad Tavares. Normally, I wouldn't pick Tavares. Again, I'm going against the code. The code is to pick old world fighters against new world fighters. I'm sure Brycechek's got the Polish power. I'm sure he can put hands on Brad Tavares and potentially KO him. But that's a potential in any fight, realistically. Even in the women's fight, there's still potential for a flash knockout, as rare as it is. And if we're going with consistency and with performance at the highest level, Brad Tavares has been in the UFC. Brad Tavares at least has a win in the UFC. At least has one win in the UFC. Brycechek doesn't. He's got one fight in the UFC and he lost it to Ihor Potieria, I do believe, which isn't amazing, to be honest. Ihor's not terrible, but it wasn't a great performance for him. So yeah, so we're going to go with Brad Tavares. I'm thinking a Brad Tavares decision. I'm thinking a crafty vet decision. He just plays it safe. He just stays crafty with it. Wears down on Robert. He kind of just makes it a slow and outpaces him. Outpaces him in a slow, boring fight. Just kind of drags him to the deep water until he's got nothing left. So yeah, we're going to go Brad Tavares by decision. Next up, we've got Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. You know we're biased on this channel, and finally I get to be biased on this channel. We're going with Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson, decent stand-up, not the best in the world. Not amazing stand-up, good stand-up, decent stand-up. We've got to be honest. We're doing a prediction. We've got to be honest here. Decent stand-up. Good submission game, really good submission game. I could see him really snatching up a submission in this fight. I could see him winning by submission in this fight. I'm probably going with Sam Patterson by decision over Trey Waters. I feel like Trey Waters is kind of getting fed to the wolves a little bit here with the Sam Patterson fight. So yeah, we're gonna go with Sam Patterson. I like him. I think he's good everywhere. But I do think the slick submission game is going to be his key to victory in this fight. So yeah, we're gonna go with Sam Patterson by submission. Next up, we've got Axel Sola versus Rhys McKee. Now, I want to pick Rhys McKee, but he's not that good. And if I'm honest with you, it seems a little bit like Axel's getting this. He's getting fed a win. He's getting fed a fight he can win. He's the feeding Rhys McKee to him. We'll say that. We'll say they've looked at the roster and they've said, right, we've got this Axel Slower guy. He's a pretty decent prospect out of France. We want him to do well. He's marketable. Let's put him against Rhys McKee. That's what they've done. He'll be able to look good against Rhys McKee. Rhys McKee will give him a chance to look good. And I think that's kind of the goal here. So they're giving Axel a chance to try and build his brand by giving him Rhys McKee. So, as always, we hope that Rhys McKee gets the upset and absolutely smashes Axel Soler. But if we're being realistic here, there's a reason why they've done this matchup. So, if we're betting on money, we're betting on money on Axel Slower. Next up, we've got Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. We're going with Marcin Tybura. That's a really tough test to be given to somebody who's not really been in the UFC for too long in Delija. Marcin Tybura, man, not an amazing fighter, not an amazing heavyweight, but he's the gatekeeper. He's the gatekeeper of the top 10. He's number 10 right there in the rankings. He's the gatekeeper of the UFC's top 10. Okay, if you want to get near the top 10, you've got to survive being blobbed by Marcin Tybura, one of the masters of the blob technique, where he just blobs on you. There's nothing you can do about it. He's just going to blob you. And that's why we go with Marcin Tybura. By decision. Nah, fuck it. We're going Marcin Tybura by submission. I think he just blobs him. Honestly, Marcin Tybura has made a career off just fucking blobbing dudes. Just being out of shape and just being big and fat and just laying on dudes. And I think it's going to work out for him again. That's what UFC heavyweight's all about. It's all about blobbing motherfuckers. So yeah, we're going to go with Marcin Tybura by submission. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to a decision. Marcin's kind of hit and miss with how he finishes and when he finishes his fights. So I could see it going to a decision. But based on this caliber of opponent, I think it's going to be a submission, a safe submission for Marcin Tybura. Next up, we've got Umar Sy versus Brenson Ribeiro. I don't rate Benson Ribeiro that highly. Another kind of scenario where this card's taking place in Paris. So if we look at the fighters that the French guys are being given, the first two anyway. When we get to William Gomez in a moment, it's a little bit more evens. But Umar Sy versus Brenson Ribeiro, they're doing Brenson Ribeiro dirty. They're doing Umar Sy a huge favour. They want Umar Sy to do well. Clearly, that's why you would give him Brenson Ribeiro. Brenson Ribeiro gasses after not even 5 minutes, that'd be a whole round. Brenson Ribeiro gasses after 3 minutes. And then he needs the 2 minutes in that round and then the rest on the stool to actually get some breath back. And then he's got 1:20 before he gasses again in the next round. Terrible cardio. He's got power, I suppose. He's got power and he's sometimes a bit tricky with his grappling. I think Umar Sy is going to be able to maintain the distance and not really have to worry about any sort of grappling from Brenson Ribeiro. I think he's going to pick him apart on the outside. Brenson Ribeiro, very one-dimensional in the stand-up. I think Umar Sy gets it done fairly handily and fairly easily. I want to say by TKO. I'm tempted to say a TKO. I'm going to say a TKO. I'm going to say Umar Sy by TKO over Brenson Ribeiro. Another favourable matchup for the French fighter in Paris, of course. Next up, we've got William Gomez versus Robert Ruchala. I can't help myself. Next up, we've got William Gomez versus Robert Ruchala. Close matchup, to be honest. I could see an upset taking place. I could really see an upset taking place. Slight underdog, moderate favourite. I could see the upset here. So I could see Gomez getting caught by a big. I'm thinking a right hook. I'm thinking Robert Ruchala lands a good right hook. I'm thinking a right hook for a finish, to be honest with you. Maybe an uppercut. Let me elaborate. So the reason this matchup's been made is because Gomez has a TKO finish with a body shot. That's a body kick. So he's got a finish with a body kick 3 fights ago, whereas Robert Ruchala got finished via body kick, but that was ground and pound body kick. So that's why they've made this matchup. They're kind of wanting Gomez to kind of follow up and get a finish in this fight, and they're thinking Robert is going to present that opportunity to him. Honestly, even though Robert is smaller, he hasn't got the height advantage. He hasn't got the height, he hasn't got the reach. He probably doesn't have the power advantage, but I think he's just gonna. I think when it gets out of the first round, it's going to get dramatically easier. I think if Robert can employ a game plan of letting William Gomez go all out, I think he has a better odds of winning it. That being said, Robert Ruchala does leave his body exposed to the kicks, so William Gomez is being given a favourable matchup. I know the French fighters are getting quite a few favourable matchups on this card. It is a favourable matchup for Robert Gomez. But if I'm honest with you, I think if anyone's getting upset, I think it's going to be William Gomez. I think, yeah, I could see it. See, because aside from that body kick finish, Gomez usually goes to a decision. At least Ruchala has finishing potential in most of his fights, whereas Gomez is happy to coast if he's ahead on the points. He's happy not to take the risk. So we're going to go against our better judgment, and we're going to go with Robert Ruchala. I'm going to go Robert Ruchala by TKO, and fingers crossed it happens because we need that Polish power. Next up, we've got Patricio Pitbull versus Loseni Kieta. Kieta? I hope that's how you say it. Patricio Pitbull being given a decent matchup. I think the UFC realised they were kind of being a bit unfair with Patricio Pitbull. He lost his first fight. He beat Danny Ige, and so now they kind of want to build him up inside the UFC, which I think is a wise decision, is to build him up. Yeah, I think it's a wiser decision is to slowly build him and try and ease him into this system, because the UFC is a lot different to all these other organizations where you can do well in a different organization, but you're just not ready for the slight, what would you call them? The subtle differences between the sports, like Margin Tybura blobbing everybody at heavyweight. If you can't get past someone who's willing to blob you and just have a boring fight and just lay on top of you at heavyweight and just kind of be inactive but be in control, if you don't know how to counter that, you're not going to win at UFC's heavyweight past a certain point. It's kind of like that for all the divisions, except there's all these different subtle things within them. Sorry, my mustache is tickling my mouth. So Pitbull's being given a decent matchup here in the sense that he's already been in the UFC. He's now gotten a win in the UFC. He's being given a guy who hasn't really fought in the UFC, who hasn't fought at this level before, but is pretty good. I'm inclined to pick Patricio Pitbull. I think it's going to be a Patricio decision. If I was so inclined to say, I think he plays it smart, and I think he gasses his opponent. If he's smart, I think he plays it safe. He doesn't go crashing in, doesn't do anything wild like that. He just plays it safe. He keeps it conventional. He keeps it orthodox, and he just plays the long game to tire out his opponent. And I think he gets an easy win on the scorecards. He doesn't want to take any chances against this guy. This guy's pretty tough. Really tough. Decent hands. Really decent hands. Will finish you if given the opportunity. So Patricio Pitbull's got to be extra careful if he has any chance of winning. But I think he can get it done. I think he has the skills to just be on the outside the whole fight and play the game at range. Next up, we've got Fares Ziam versus Catun Fernandez. Tough one for me to pick. I kind of want to go with Fares Ziam again. Stylistically, matched up stylistically. It feels like it's in favour of Ziam. I could see it going Ziam's way, to be honest with you. It's a tough one for me to call. See, it's a tough matchup for me to pick. Ziam really good. Ziam good everywhere. Pretty good at staying standing too. Fernandez also pretty good. Pretty good kicks from Fernandez's corner. Really, really good kicks. Good stand-up. Good range management. I think Ziam kind of overwhelms him as the fight goes on. Enjoy that. I think Ziam kind of overwhelms him as the fight goes on. Yeah, I'm thinking of Ziam. I think Ziam hurts him in the first round, but doesn't manage to finish him. I think it's very close to a finish. And then I think Fernandez just kind of plays it safe from that point on, and coasts to a loss, trying to find his way back in, but he never really finds it. And I think Ziam just commands too much respect too early in the fight and dominates from there. So I'm going to say a Ziam decision. Yeah, I'm going to say a Ziam decision. Next up, we've got Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. I want to go with Paul Craig. You know what? The thing is with Paul Craig is that you never know when he's actually just going to fucking snatch someone's leg, snatch someone's arm. That's the beauty of Paul Craig. And to be fair, I will be in Scotland for the time of this fight, so I feel like maybe the stars are aligning. I'm also biased on this channel. So yeah, we're going to go with Paul Craig by submission, because Paul Craig doesn't win unless it's by submission typically. Maybe we'll get a Paul Craig TKO again. Wow, wouldn't that be crazy? No, we'll go with Paul Craig by submission. If you're betting, ignore me. If you're putting money on this, ignore what I've just said. And you know what? If you like to gamble, Paul Craig's a great place to put your money. A Paul Craig submission, there's always good odds on it, and there's potential for it to happen because he is slick with his submission game. I don't know if it's going to work against Modestas Bukauskas, who will dominate him in the stand-up. Paul Craig can't do anything in the stand-up. He's got some okay body kicks. He's got some okay oblique kicks and leg kicks. He's got no hands. Paul Craig doesn't really have hands. Like I say, his kicks are okay, and he uses the kicks to maintain the distance, and then when he wants to be grappling, he's grappling. He doesn't really trade hands in that kind of range. Whereas Modestas Bukauskas does. So I can see Paul Craig really getting lit up, and if he tries to clinch or if he just tries to kind of weigh on Modestas Bukauskas, I could see him really getting hurt in that scenario. But at the same time, it's Paul Craig. He can take a beating. He's pretty tough. He will keep getting back up until he is finished. So yeah, I'm personally picking Paul Craig by submission. But if you're a betting man and if you value your pick rate, I'd go with Modestas Bukauskas. But I'm going with Paul Craig by submission because we're biased. Next up, we've got Borralho Oki versus Mason Jones. A decent bit of matchmaking for you. Borralho Oki, powerful hands, powerful knees and kicks as well. Really good with the knees, really slick with the knees. I think he's got two finishes with his knees. Mason Jones, decent fighter, okay grappling, not amazing, but okay grappling. Decent stand-up as well, decent hands. I think they've made this matchup because Borralho Oki can finish you, and Mason Jones' most recent win is over like Jeremy Stephens. I don't even think he's in the UFC anymore, but Jeremy Stephens is a guy with power in his hands as well. So I think getting past Jeremy Stephens kind of is like, oh, okay, this guy can deal with guys who are really powerful. Let's give him Borralho Oki and see how that style matchup goes down. It's a difficult one to pick. I am biased, so I'm going to be going with Mason Jones because he's from the UK. So am I. Wales is a stomping ground of mine. So I don't want to be out there enjoying the beautiful Welsh countryside, and then Mason Jones comes along and pantsers me in front of my friends. That wouldn't be fun, would it? Comes and wrestles me in a field in front of all the sheep. That wouldn't be fun, would it? So yeah, we're going to go with Mason Jones. Mason Jones probably by decision, to be honest. Yeah, Mason Jones by decision. On to the next one. We've got Benoit Saint-Denis versus Mauricio Ruffi. I'm going with Ruffi. Mauricio Ruffi by knockout. I think he's going to absolutely chin Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis on a bit of a skid right now. He's not doing. Benoit Saint-Denis looked like a guy that was going to take over lightweight at one point. Like, this guy was going to take over, and something happened, bro. Something happened to him, and he's just been getting binked. He's just been getting popped and binked over and over again. And Mauricio Ruffi is a guy who is going to put his hands on your chin. I don't know if Benoit Saint-Denis' chin is kind of faded. Maybe it's cracked. I don't know, but he just doesn't seem as tough as he once was. I think he's just taken too much punishment in his stint in the UFC, because he's a blood and guts type of fighter. He's willing to take some damage to dish out some damage, and I think it's caught up with him rapidly. So it's a shame to say it for Benoit Saint-Denis because he was a really good French prospect, but I don't think it's going to happen for him. So we're going to go with Mauricio Ruffi. I'm thinking Mauricio Ruffi by knockout inside of 2 rounds, to be honest with you. Inside of 2 rounds. Yeah. I'm going to go with Ruffi by knockout. TKO. Round 2. I think he just catches Benoit, and once Benoit gets hit, it's... If you hit Benoit Saint-Denis and you stay on him, he doesn't recover. Like, you've got to give him... He will recover if you give him time. He needs a good 30, 40 seconds, and he'll recover and he'll be back to normal, like you never rocked him. But if you can stay on him, he won't recover. He just won't recover. He needs that time to get back in the game. Like, some guys, you rock them, they fall down, and they're immediately back up, and sometimes they're more switched on from before you hit them. But Benoit Saint-Denis not one of those guys. You hit him, you hurt him, and if you stay on him, you will finish him. He doesn't have... Once he's hurt, he won't recover very well. He needs time to recover. And if you don't give that time to him, you can finish him right there and then. And I think Mauricio Ruffi is high level enough to know that. So yeah, I want to go with Ruffi by TKO. Next up, we've got the final fight even. The main event. The one you've all been waiting for. Nassourdine Imavov versus Caio Borralho. Tough matchup, to be honest with you. Tough one to call. Very tough one to call. I think you've got to look at it like this. Nassourdine Imavov, excellent, well-rounded fighter. Caio Borralho, another excellent, well-rounded fighter. If we're looking at it objectively, we've got... This is really a test. This is a test to see if the fighting nerds are really about it. Like, the fighting nerds have been taken over. They've been finishing everybody. They're all really, really, really good. Like, high-level strikers, really good grapplers. Right now, there's kind of This is a moment in history where we find out whether the style of the fighting nerves, the training of the fighting nerves. This is the kind of test where we see, like, is this the kind of style, is this the kind of gym that is producing champions and that will go to the top. And that's what we're going to find out from this card, really. That's another question we're answering on this card. Can Kaiho Borralho beat Nassourdine Imavov? Probably, yeah. Honestly, I won't be surprised if Kaiho finishes Nassourdine Imavov. The blueprint's there, the blueprints are finished, Nassourdine's there, and once it's there, like, the fighting nerds, like, exploit it. The fighting nerds have got this we'll call it autistic fashion of going out about their game plans, and they identify your weaknesses, and they come in and they play a little game with you, and then they exploit your weaknesses and they finish you extremely quickly. So I think that this whole card is built as a test for that. And honestly, I think the fighting nerds pass it. I think if we're talking about the future of the sport, whatever the fighting nerds are doing over there, it seems to be working. Even for these guys that are, like, coming and tagging along now that they're kind of making a name for themselves, they're seeming to do well with whatever they're getting taught over a fighting nerds. So I'm gonna say Kaiho Borralho probably wins. I think it goes to a decision. I don't think Nassourdine Imavov will get finished, but I think he will get exploited. And I think it's going to be a bad show for him, to be honest with you. I think he loses some stock from this fight. I think he gets kind of punished, and people will say it's an exposing, but realistically it'll just be there are levels to this game, and the fighting nerds are now leveling it up further. But yeah, so that kind of sums it up. Kaiho Borralho by by decision. My mistake, sorry. But if you enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching all the way until the end. There's my predictions. Hope you win some cash dollar. Subscribe for some more banging videos like this one if you enjoyed it. Or don't. Go fuck yourself. Until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.